everyone. I wanted to give a big update about my bitch's first heat. Woo! She's passed out right now because she is in what's known as diestrus or diestrus. Diestrus is the 56 to 68 days, which is basically like 3 months period in which she would be having our puppies. And I say our because I'm, going to be feeding them and such. But I really want to breed her and breed other emotional service animals, assistance dogs. I really want to figure out how to do this. And I'm doing it by living firsthand and learning, reinventing the wheel. I like to reinvent the wheel. It's part of my struggle, I suppose. Like, I like to do things that haven't been done before. Anyways, one of the things that I noticed is that my dog's sexuality is everybody's business, and I didn't understand why that would be. So, proestrus, but, and I'll go back to this chart, but she's currently in diestrus, and that's why she sleeps a little bit more, and she's like, her appetite is sort of back to normal, and then sort of picky. So, but not as picky as it was during estrus, boy. I'm gonna mostly bitch about my bitch's estrus. I only call my bitch as a joke. I don't really think that female dogs are really bitches. I don't use bitch as a word in real life, so why would I mean, I do, but I don't use bitch to describe females. Hardly ever, except my sister. But she really is a bitch. And she knows it. But anyways, my dog's sleeping. It's about her bedtime anyway. Actually, we go to bed at midnight, which is in 10 minutes, but I'm staying up just to do this live because I want to really add to the amount of videos of people who want to have an intact female, and for people to be able to understand why your dog's sexuality shouldn't be anyone else's business, and why keeping your female, in her wild, natural, bleeding, beautiful, gigantic, engorged yoni state is like a learning lesson for you as a dog mom, especially, or a dog dad. I can't even imagine like how much patience, like for me, during estrus, which is a short period of time in which you're supposed to be mating the dogs, but breeding the dogs. She's in her first heat, so you shouldn't breed them in their first heat. You should breed them in their second or third, which is what most people say, and I agree with that too, because she did not have the signs of like looking to mate necessarily. She wanted to go out for walks all the time, 7 fucking times a day. And this is where I really hate that I am, working at home all the time. But that is part of the package of taking on your assistance animal. And this is the opposite effect of what I think a lot of guide dogs do for their handlers, is that they primarily help their handler, but like when a dog is in heat, you're really in service to them because they're basically like not sick, but they're in need of your attention constantly. So she was just like whining all day, but not like, my therapist said that she would be screaming and in pain, but she wasn't. She was just like really like needing to be walked all the time so she could take little tinkles all over the apartment complex. And I knew that she's just dropping scent all over, but she wasn't, there were no male dogs waiting on my doorstep, which I've seen before, where all the male dogs just like line up to smell a bitch. It's like, I've seen that before, and I think that's hilarious. So I mostly just want to observe and learn and be in sync with the energy of my dog is, because as a female who bleeds, I, of anyone, should be empathetic to, you know, raising a female who I can be in service to for however long. This is a long ass period though. I have to say, I can't be nice for this long. You have to go back being my dog. Luckily her appetite is back to kind of normal, but it was really annoying during estrus because she was not eating anything, and her suddenly like appetite was like null, and she already hates her dry food. She used to eat some of it, and she loves her like chicken feet and all the raw food that I give her, but then she wasn't into anything. She was like, I had to bike to Safeway to get like 3 different little packets of processed different food that I've used in emergencies that I know that she sometimes ate. But she was like, she does this face, and I'm like, open the packet. How about this one? Like, it definitely, like, because I have, I would tend to lean in the codependency direction, but I definitely have been conscious of that and working on that with my dog, because you can't be codependent with your dog. You have to be, like, a leader, so, you can't be pleasing your dog all the time, because you have to play alpha. Like, you can't, so you can't be a pleaser for your dog, serving your dog all the time. But I understand that she's in her estrus, or she was, and I want her to eat. So I rode my bike a couple miles, and then by this time I'm also training, because I had talked to my direct, I am in education, but my direct supervisor about making a reasonable accommodation, because even though Hawaii doesn't acknowledge service dogs in training, she's at least an emotional support animal, and you can make accommodations for ESAs for housing, airplanes, and jobs. But I haven't had a chance to do that, and meanwhile, my rent is late, Stimulus 3 hasn't come. I've called my insurance company to see if they'll pay for training of the dog. Some of the vet bills that incurred during the beginning of her life, she had ear infections and giardia and stuff, and just buying the dog, like, she was, I'm building it brick by brick, basically, like, build your own DIY service dog. And I'm figuring out what my rights are, what resources are available to me. To me, like, I'm sure that this program has been invented, but I haven't Googled it anywhere, so that's why I'm creating this channel. So let me see if I can share screen here. Let me see if I can do that. Hold on. What do I want to show you? Let me look at. Oh yeah, here it goes. Amazon Owls. Where is it? So when I was looking at how to get a trainer, I've already talked to 2 trainers now, because I'm seeking to put Satori through service dog training and figure out the tasks that she can help me do. But in the meantime, I'm still mentally ill, and I'm still having issues, and basically, like, a lot of my coping skills, I don't know that Satori can help with them specifically, like predict them. They're pretty complicated, so that's what makes this a difficult task. But let's see. Hold on. I'm looking for this PDF. Can I open this PDF? Huh. It's not really giving me this. I want to show you this. So what she told me was that, you know, your dog is, that's a problem. You need to spay your dog. Everybody tells me that's a problem. You need to spay your dog, and that your dog would basically be useless and not of a service to you for about 3 months. And then I don't know. I mean, I would not say that she was useless. We still did our deliveries, and we still worked in stores during this time. I think. Let me think. I don't think so. I think I took the week off because my car was rented. So part of my income is either delivering, shopping, groceries, or I rent out my car. So I think I was really just tending to her estrus, and that was difficult because I do admit that it's like having a sick dog. So, but I was training also. Okay, so let me back up. I was going to the grocery store and leaving her home alone because I needed to get back to work. So delivering groceries and renting out my car doesn't pay the rent, and the rent is late, and the stimulus 3 hasn't come, and yeah, so there's every decision that I make around the dog and myself is usually financial, and it's usually like a bottom line thing, like it has to be done. So it just has to be done. And so I substitute teach, and I just needed to like leave the dog at home then and start substitute teaching, because I could either get paid $175 a day or $8 an hour, basically, after you shop for the groceries, deliver them, and drive and gas. It's like, it's just convenient to have gig work. Like I said, like people with disabilities thrive off of gig work because they can do one little job a day or 2 jobs a day or have a big break in between. It helps a lot when you just need to wig out for a little bit. What I found is one of my big coping skills is sleep, and I will just like pull the shutters on a day, and that's one of my big coping skills. Is like, it happened today where I was just like, oh, this conversation is too much for me, this whole situation is too much for me, I'm just gonna just ignore you and go to sleep. And I just did that, and I just ignored the rest of his conversation, and I was like, checked out. You're giving me an anxiety attack, and I'm not gonna allow you to do that. So I'm just gonna go to sleep. So what could the dog, I mean, so that would be like, what I thought of is like, I've watched a bunch of videos on other people's service dogs to get ideas and to really understand how this whole thing works. Let me see if I can do the window capture. I'm still trying to show you this, show windows with empty names. Okay, let me put this on the this is live video. What is it? Trick dog, it said. So my thoughts as of now is people are so keen to be like, oh, spay her after her first heat. So after now she's supposed to be spayed, but like I don't think I believe in spaying. I mean, I understand the risks of cancer, but that's like very Angela Jolie, you know, like I'm gonna have a preemptive mastectomy because there's a chance. I mean, I don't know what the chances are, but I also probably wouldn't have a preemptive mastectomy. So the argument that I've heard is if you spay the dog, then she'll never get breast cancer. And I'm like, because you have altered their total hormonal cycle, and that's like, if you cut off your breasts, you'll never get breast cancer. Yeah, duh. If you cut off their ball sack, they'll never have prostate cancer. So that just seems like, is that a positive? I don't know if I can really think of that as a positive. So, okay, SBCA, is it that one? No. S3. Cannot get this up on the screen, but this is the AKC Canine Partners Special Listing application, and you can be an AKC therapy dog, and you can pass the Canine Good Citizen test, which is basically like all of the things that I've been training Satori on. Like, so first I've been not really concentrating on figuring out the tasks, but since she's a puppy, it's like I'm just setting the foundation of basic public access in limited doses. We are great as a team, shopping, working, grocery delivery. She has to wear a mouth trainer even though she hates it, but she understands that it's work. So she understands being on task and at work, because I'm at work. And because we've had to learn the hard way and figure it out together, she's just had to figure it out, and she's done it really well. So she's picking up new obedience skills, so I'm sure that she could pass this Canine Good Citizens test. The only caveat is it says, I apply to the American Kennel Club to have an AKC Canine Partners official decree for this dog, and they do accept mixed breeds and everything's all good. I certify that this dog has been spayed, neutered, or that it, being a puppy, will be spayed or neutered at such time as recommended by my veterinarian, and that we will submit written verification if requested by the American Kennel Club. I certify that this dog is not a wolf or the immediate progeny of a wolf. I understand that if this dog is identified as a wolf, so, okay, that doesn't apply to me, but this whole idea is that, like, they do not want you to breed your dog. So I don't agree with philosophies. Like, when I was talking to the trainer, they said that they make other dogs aggressive, and so if other dogs get aggressive because my dog's in heat, I increase the so then you could endanger someone else's service dog. And then I just didn't understand that, because, like, if my service dog is intact and is certainly not going to attack your service dog, but your service dog falls out of character because my dog is intact, then that sounds like a you problem, not a me problem. But if you disagree, then please write that in the comments, because I am new at this and I'm open to nice feedback. So I find that maybe it's like competition for breeders is kind of what I'm thinking. Because I am trying to do something that's totally different, and I feel like there's a need for this, you know, and especially since people jumped up at the ability to buy vests for their emotional service dogs so quickly, and they didn't even need a vest. I mean, that movement really sparked off a whole trend, right? So there is a need for people who want all kinds of things that are under the umbrella of emotional service dog. And so the next thing that I was going to do is just find someone who can independently administer it, or I could lie about it, or I could get a vet that recommends that I never spay my dog. It depends. They can't determine who my vet is. It says recommended by my vet, right? So, I mean, ultimately, I feel like it's none of their business. My dog's sexuality, my sexuality is none of your business. You need me to do something so you can feel better. I don't agree with that. And I am a responsible pet owner, and everything's going to be fine. However, I understand that for the average person, that their journey is going to be very different and they wouldn't find that useful. So I think another thing that I see people doing is spaying their dogs for their convenience, because they can't deal with the estrus cycle, because they don't want unwanted puppies, because they can't control their dogs. But it's for their convenience, right? And I don't want to alter my dog's health for my convenience. If I feel like it's medically necessary, which I'll continue to do research, but definitely what I've heard is after about 2 or 3 years, if you were going to spay your dog, would be a good time after they've grown. Like, I'm a firm believer in periods being beautiful and good. And just to be in sync with your service dog or your emotional support animal, it's like, I say this all the time when I'm talking about dogs. It's like, I don't believe it's an unconditional love. I believe that it's a cyclical love, and I believe that it is based on love and trust, and you can lose that love and trust. It's not like humans, how humans will hold a grudge and you can lose. The stakes are a little bit higher, but I think with dogs, they do get mad at you if you don't do your job, and they will let you know that. And I think if you have been sexually assaulted, having your dog intact is a great lesson to step into your primal and understand the sexuality of a mammal. And they're very energetic, and they're really like, on you, right? They want to become part of the main, it's like they feel like, it's like, I haven't been around, my sisters, I've been around pregnant women, but they never, like, asked me for anything. But it was like being around a needy pregnant woman for the last, it was only, what is it? Estrus is between 5 and 12 days, and her estrus, I put it on the calendar, it was about 10 days exactly. But her temperament, as you know, she is 8 months old, and she's an excellent puppy. She is already doing regular public exposure trips with me as a grocery delivery person, and we've gone to the airport. We have done a whole bunch of stuff, ridden the bus together. And she still is a puppy, so she's not perfect, and definitely this estrus period was a challenge. Yeah, she wouldn't eat anything, and I gave her 3 different types of wet food. She doesn't eat kibble. She wasn't eating her raw food, and then I was just like, well, I guess you're gonna fast then, like, I don't know what to do. You can figure it out, right? So it's like, I just wonder sometimes about their going back to their primal, like, eventually they'll figure it out. I think. And she'll get hungry enough, and she will eat. And she did. And then when she got back to eating raw food, we were all excited. I was like, we're all jumping up and down. We're all like, you're back! Satori's back! Woohoo! So my plan is to probably take this CGC, this canine good citizen test, and also, I got a lot of plans. I've been working on so much stuff. So I haven't gotten a hold of the ADA office at my district. I am a substitute teacher right now in Hawaii, and and I want them to make a reasonable accommodation to bring my dog into the classroom, because I do feel anxious without my dog, and it does make my work difficult. I do have firstly, it's like I notice that when I take walks, she kind of makes me take walks. I never go, ooh, I want to go outside and take a walk. I never cope like that. But I find that when she tells me she wants to go outside and the sun hits my face and I go outside and I start walking, we walk around my apartment complex, and when she was in heat, oh my God, 7 times I walked around this apartment. 7 times. And then the other 2 times, she would lead me into the bedroom to cuddle in the bed. She's so cute. She's like the cutest baby. Hello, baby. I just want to show how cute she is. And she would be like whimpering and stuff. And then I was like, what do you need? And then she'd want to cuddle in the bed. She'd be whimpering to be close to me, which is just like wonderful, if you grew up as a neglected child. I feel like dog love for someone who's a child abuse survivor is like so essential, and I just really think that is the service. That's why it says love is the service. And so I also since I can't show you this form, I'm gonna show you this other let me see if I can bring up this other model of this police canines, and the relationship that canines have with their handlers. And I felt like for people who have PTSD and CPTSD that's a similar kind of relationship, because at one time you were fully able, and then you had your trauma or traumas, and then you're disabled now. But I am starting to understand how you can actually be free of PTSD. When I actually first, it could be manageable, more manageable, like I understand how you can get better from it because I'm getting better. And sorry, I got distracted. But I think that this program that I'm kind of experimenting with is like being around your dog all the time is the service as well. Parenting for your dog, advocating for you and your dog as a team, which is what I'm doing, trying to get her to come to school with me. Because I work with special ed kids, and like I think that I want to also like certify her, even though she's not spayed, and will never be spayed, to be a therapy dog, so that other autistic kids and other kids could pet her and find some kind of relief and distraction, I think, healthy distraction when needed. For kids who, what I witnessed was just different coping behaviors, which I think a dog could maybe help with. Yeah, so that's a program and an experiment that I want to do with the students that I'm currently already working with. Like, if they gave me a chance to just bring my dog in the school as a service dog. Like, service dogs cannot master environments until they're taken into environments. And now, like, grocery stores and stuff are a snap for my dog. Being in the airport, handing off to a stranger, staying on the grass while cars are passing. We know that. I've been trying to teach her this one. Pressure. Like having her lay across my lap and give me pressure, because I think that is really useful. I just need her close to me with her heart beating on me to be calm and to soothe me a lot of the time. What I'm having trouble with is getting her to stay in position and being in service to me. Like, I feel like she would fail the puppy service training, when they have puppy raisers and stuff, and I start to feel really sad about that because our bond is so tight. But It's like she has trouble really like serving me, which would make a terrible service dog, right? Like she's just like, oh, and then I'm just gonna like pressure, okay, I did it, I got my treat, and like now I'm not interested. But like I just wonder from other people who are more experienced trainers, handlers, like how do you get the dog to be like, look at me, I'm here for you, you know? Like how do they do that? You know, like my dog can do it for a limited amount of time, but she's definitely not like. She can't wait to not be with her mouth guard. She knows it's necessary. It's kind of like me when I have a job that I don't like. So I don't know. This part of it is kind of hard. It's hard to be without my dog working. I live close enough to a school that I can go in between and take her out once, but that causes me more anxiety. So that's why I feel like I can make a reasonable accommodation to get her to school. Also because it will help the students that I'm working with. I think I'm going to end for that. People don't pay attention to long ass. Oh my god. Oh, it is. People don't pay attention to long ass content anyway, it seems. Is Satori's eyes open? No, sometimes she kind of sleeps with her eyes open and then she has like REM. She does a lot of twitching. Like she's like E.T. Yeah, so I have been given the number of an independent trainer, and I have talked to two service dog training schools in Hawaii, and they have both said the same thing, that they will not work with my dog if it's not spayed. A lot of kennels, period, won't. You can't put your dog in daycare if it's not spayed. So my dog's sexuality is a problem for a lot of people. I mean, I get it, but if she's not in heat, then she can't get pregnant, but apparently that's still a problem. I don't know, different people have different. I was told that I should go to EMDR, which is it's like a therapy for that works on REMs and brain waves around trauma, to release the trauma related to the genital mutilation of dogs called spaying and neutering, and to not make it a thing, right? Like that's why breeders call their dogs bitches, and they say when you've bred the dog, instead of using more humanizing terms like when they've mated or finding a partner. Like I really I can't dehumanize, I can't de-soul, de-sex. How could I do that to my animal? They have every emotion just in really succinct doses. They have jealousy, they have love, they have annoyance, they have periods, why would I think that they deserve any less than my full respect and love and honor of their bodies, whatever is best for their bodies? And so I'm continuing to learn that. But what I'm leaning towards is not spaying her, because I want to find another dog. I don't know, it's too early, like I said, if he's gonna make a good service dog or not. So that's why I am making videos about this process. And I will end for tonight. Thank you for following and subscribing and commenting. Say bye, Satori. See, my niece did a sketch of her, and then that's the original photo of her on New Year's Eve. See, she has little white paws because she's so dapper. Subscribe.